Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd. Welcome back to the show. Me and Lloyd, fresh off of
heat advisory.
What a heat advisory. Fuck that heat advisory.
Stare right at the sun.
Me and Lloyd, fresh off the golf course yesterday. Not our best effort, but not our worst.
Well, that's where sun came into play.
There's been worse effort. Hey, first hole, I was like, boy, this is gonna be a day. Boomed it right down the middle of the fairway.
315 down the middle, puts it to 12 feet.
Yep. Hey, but I'll say this. Look, when you're a golfer and you're trying to get better, and you're trying to do things, and you're trying to be, improve your golf game, can't always look at the overall score. And my overall score wasn't unbelievable, but it wasn't like the worst I've ever had. But you can't look at the score. You got to look at certain things, and you got to take it and you got to run with it.
Moments.
Well, listen. Take something positive, put it in the bucket that day, right?
That's right.
What did we put in the bucket? Lloyd put in the bucket. His driver, way better.
New swing.
New swing, a little bit more swing speed.
A little bit more.
Ball's traveling a little bit better. Now we got to hone it in, right? I was throwing darts with my wedges all day.
Short game.
Short game was great. Can't complain about that. So, great day out yesterday afternoon on the courses. Us two and Joe Schwartz.
Yes.
Joe's a golfer. He's a stick.
Yes,
he
recently off the
bit
birthday.
too,
I'm telling you, the heat played a factor.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a bitch about it.
No doubt. But
hot.
fresh off the golf course yesterday. I will be on a family vacation this weekend, so no show on Friday. But we have a lot more to talk about than just Lloyd and I's golf game. There's a lot of conversation right now happening around the NFL because everybody is in camps. Everybody has started their camp. It's camp season. I also call this part of the offseason list season because there's always lists. You go to all these sports talk shows, and you go to all these different things, and it's like, top 10 this, who's the top 10 that, and it's all about lists. They're trying to fill some time and trying to just make conversation. There was some interesting conversation to have. Everybody's got opinions. It seems nowadays that if you have an opinion and it's not the same opinion of somebody else, there's a lot of sensitivity and there's a lot of, for some reason, some personal anguish that comes with opposing viewpoints, and people get attacked. Cam Newton being one of those guys. We'll talk about that because we had this conversation off air. Cam doesn't think Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback, and he explained his reasons why, and then he got attacked personally, which I don't think is the right way to do it. But we'll talk a little bit about some of the NFL, what to expect in the NFL. Tyrann Mathieu. Round of applause for the Honey Badger. What an unbelievable career. 4-time All-Pro. I think a 5-time Pro Bowler. And, just did exactly what he did in college in the NFL. Extremely well-respected leader around the NFL. And from where he was when he left LSU to where he is now, it's an unbelievable story. Obviously, it's been told a million times. He's very open about it. I think that was part of his leadership qualities. You hear stories about people who played with him when he was in Texas. We were watching the Pat McAfee show earlier today, and he had the punter. I forget his name.
Shane
Leckler. And he played with Tyron for a little bit in Houston. He was talking about how much of a leader he was and how he wasn't super vocal, but when he spoke, everybody listened. And he said when he got there, he spoke about his experiences and his whole story. And, whenever you open up personally about that, it kind of brings people in. And he's had an unbelievable career. We've been very fortunate to get to know Tyron. I was in school with Tyron when he was a freshman, and I went back to graduate over the next couple off seasons. And we had some same class together. I was actually in the class with him whenever he got kicked off the team. It was a crazy kind of week day that day, but he's always been a great dude, always been great to me. And we'll have some more Tyron conversation later, but I wanted to give a shout-out to him on his retirement. It's Wednesday, so it's Ask Mikie and Mitch. Throw your questions in the chat for anything that you have. Listen, we're not just a baseball show. Throw any questions you got at us. I know there's a lot of baseball conversations happening, but the college baseball, LSU baseball season right now is kind of the news is kind of winding down, which is a good thing. Let's give those guys a break from being in the spotlight and let them have a little time for some R&R. SEC football starts in about 5 weeks. And the Big Ten and the ACC, some of the coaches in those conferences throwing shade at the SEC. Curt Cignetti being one of those. He's not shy with his words. Rhett Lashley at SMU, another one of those guys, talking about how SEC doesn't have as much depth team-wise. Cignetti talks about the schedules. That is also something that we will obviously talk more about. But we have a lot of conversation. It's Bring Your Personality Day on the show. We're going to have some fun. Lloyd's been under the weather. I think I hate saying that. It's been a lot happening recently. I think it's lack of sleep. I'm proud of you last night, Lloyd. You went to bed at 7:30 p.m.
I don't think that was by choice.
Nope, but you needed it. See, your body's telling you. Sometimes you got to listen to your body, dude.
I am.
You got to listen to it.
They told me not to come here today,
and look,
but I didn't listen.
You sound better.
I do.
Than
I
you
feel
did
better.
yesterday. Lloyd would walk after his drive, and he would carry the club like he's a child, like he's limping. I was like, dude, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I'm just hot. I thought he was like hurt.
Dude, I was full up to water, like up to here. Immediately get in my car and throw it all up, and I was like, God, I don't think I feel good.
This is how you know. Lloyd wasn't feeling good and it was hot. No drinking.
No drinking.
Lloyd did not have a sip of alcohol on the golf course.
Maybe that's what's wrong.
And I know Lloyd's not an alcoholic. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, he likes to partake on the golf course a little bit, and
It's half the fun.
absolutely. There's no judgment there, but you didn't do
Did
that.
y'all walk the course? Am I reading this wrong? Did y'all walk the course? Like what?
Oh no, we didn't walk it. We did not walk it.
It's so hot.
No, there's a
So you were dragging the club from
The tee box.
back to the cart?
Yep.
Sometimes I'd put it away.
Sometimes Lloyd does something that I've never played. Lloyd will hit his drive and then keep the driver in the golf cart till he gets to his next shot.
I have to
Then
go back
put it
to
in
the
bag.
back at some point.
So I was like, but no, great day yesterday. Great day yesterday. Hot day, but
y'all
great day.
shooting?
Oh, God.
We shot sub 90.
Yeah.
We shot sub 90.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
it could have been the way it started. It could have been nice, but
You got hot.
I got hot. I had a little knee issue. Really affect my game.
The
But
old loser limp came out, J-Mitt.
no, wasn't the loser limp.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't the loser limp. I had a little tiger issue.
Yeah,
I was getting too much.
That's one way to put it.
I was getting too much torque on the front leg, and my front knee for some reason was like locked up, and I was like, man. And then I tried to, I fought through it, obviously, because I'm a fighter,
Uh-huh.
and then it got real bad, and I thought, damn, I may not be able to make it through. And then I fought through it, and I played way better on the back nine. It was good.
And then today's like, I feel it feels 100% better.
Feels better. Feels better.
Uh-huh.
Feels better. Hey, I'll say this: I rolled the rock. Give me some flowers, Lloyd.
Oh, I did. The man was putting the
I
iron
was
out of it.
dripping the ball into the cup.
A couple of lengthy ones too.
Uh-huh.
Last rotation in.
Felt good about it.
Yeah.
Felt real good about it. Tough greens to putt on over there at U
And
Club.
well, yeah, they're still a little sandy, so it's not.
Yeah, I don't
the
love
true-
that. I like them when they're faster.
Right, you could tell, but you made the adjustment.
I did.
I did not.
I did.
I was just happy to be there.
Jared, how was your last couple days? How are you doing? How's your golf game coming along?
I mean, it's too hot right now, bro. I hopped
see?
in my car today. I left the meeting today, and my car said 111.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking going. I'm not going out there right now.
It takes my car a good 5 minutes of driving, like if it's in the middle of the day, to get like the AC to get cool. It's spicy. Spicy. Before we get really into the meat and potatoes of this conversation, I know we've been talking about it. You can see it on our ticker, Alumni Hall, one of our newest sponsors. I've been telling you everything about Alumni Hall, where it's located, Perkins Row, how they have all necessary LSU gear that you may want. But there's some other things that I failed to mention, which is on me. Hand up. My bad. Something that may get you in the store. If you are a student or faculty or military or first responder, you get 10% off of everything every day. Okay? If you spend $150, this is anybody, any civilian. If you spend $150, you get $10 of hall cash to use later, right? They have literally anything that you possibly can need for your tailgating. Not just, gear. They got Yeti stuff. They got jerseys. They got coaches' attire. And they stay up to date with all the new drops. There's not a better store in Baton Rouge for you to go to to get all of your fandom needs. They are always, having new drops. They're always having specials and sales and deals and everything that you may need. And listen, if you're a bigger dude, big and tall, right? They used to have the big and tall. They probably still have the big and tall stores. A little bit more difficult sometimes to go find attire that you may want to wear because, they don't really have the sizes that fit. The shirts don't fit well. The pants don't fit well. Maybe they're a little short. Maybe the shirt's a little short. They have a ton of big and tall options for you. If you're an infant, if you're a toddler, if you're a kid, if you're a man, a woman, a larger human being, they have everything that you may possibly want or anything that your heart would desire at Alumni Hall. Give them a shout. Give them a look. Go look at their website. We're looking at it right now. They're in Perkins Row. Unbelievable location. Their store is as nice as you could possibly get, and we're very proud they're a sponsor of us. And go give them a gander. Go roam through the store and come back to me and tell me that there's nothing there that you like because there's a ton. So appreciate Alumni Hall. Go check them out. All right.
Size is all the way up to 5 extra big.
5 extra big. Is that what it's called? Extra big?
Mm-hmm.
Extra big.
What's that look like on the shirt? I'm not trying.
Hey, that's like the 2000s. The tall tees.
Is that like 5XB on the shirt? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, there's a 5XB right there.
5XB.
And they got long.
I guess it is.
Large and tall.
Never seen that before.
They got
4 extra tall.
They got whatever you need.
Paul Gervais, 4 extra tall.
They got whatever you need.
Never seen it.
Whatever you need.
Never seen it.
Never seen it. They have it though. That's a good spot for them to be. They also have an app.
Options right there. Hey, that's good work because there's options.
Options.
Can't say they don't have what you need.
Options. All right, let's get right into the football conversation. Listen, it's July 23rd. I believe the Hall of Fame game, NFL Hall, is next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the unofficial start, or it's the official start, I guess, of football season, quote unquote, in the NFL. College obviously doesn't start for another month after that. But let's jump into the college football conversation. Obviously, we're SEC biased. We're in SEC country. LSU is going to be really good, supposed to be really good. SEC is also supposed to be really good. Well, jealousy is not a good look on a lot of people. And, look, there's been a lot of conversation about the SEC to, prop up some of these other conferences. I believe it's SEC, Big Ten are the top 2 conferences in college football. And ACC has some things to say about that. But Curt Cignetti throws shade at the SEC earlier in a press conference, and he was talking about them removing a tough non-conference game off their schedule, right? And instead of really talking about that, he kind of went at the SEC and says, oh, well, the SEC plays more FCS teams than anybody in the country. We're going to take their schedule. They only play 7 conference games instead of 8, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And in my opinion, it's like if you go look at their schedule, it's like, yeah, because the Big Ten, the bottom half of the Big Ten is not good. And your schedule, probably have 5 teams in the Big 12, the Big 10 that are probably real competitors. And you don't play all those teams every year. So, miss me with the schedule thing because the SEC is, you have to go through the SEC gauntlet, so that takes care of it. And look, LSU is playing Clemson for a top team to begin the season for the 5th straight year. So miss me with they play FCS teams, all this kind of stuff. The other thing,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm about to say too. Let me jump in on that.
Yeah, jump in.
What I don't like. You know what I don't like? Because I really do believe this. If you ask Curt Cignetti today if he would rather trade LSU schedule or I don't know Alabama schedule or I don't know maybe Florida schedule for his schedule right now, what do you think the answer would be?
Yeah, I would say it's a no, a resounding no.
So I don't want to hear about how many and this and that and all that nonsense you're talking. You know what it is. That conference is as top heavy as it gets. This conference is as deep as it gets, and that's just the facts of it.
100%. And Rhett Lashley at SMU, going into the kind of piggybacking off the conversation of Curt Cignetti, Rhett Ashley, who's the head coach at SMU. And listen, I think SMU is a is going to be a really good team for a really long time. They got a lot of money there. It's in the most expensive zip code, one of the most expensive zip codes in the country. They got a lot of really wealthy alumni. They used to be a powerhouse in the football team until they had the death penalty, and they're coming back, right? They were really good last year. They're in the ACC. But Rhett Lashley comes at the SEC and says that the SEC doesn't have a lot of depth. Like, they don't have a lot of good teams top to bottom. It's just top heavy, which I think couldn't be more further from the truth. I mean, last year everybody would probably admit, okay, Florida they're not Florida, right? Name brand, yeah, but like as far as what they've been over the last few years, they weren't there. But I don't think they wanted to play Florida at the end of the year last year. Florida was playing good ball, right? Obviously, Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina is really good. Kentucky upset some teams. Like, Texas is in there. Oklahoma's in there. Like, I just don't understand. And, look, I know these guys have to prop their conference up and make them sound better, and it's a lot of these sound bites, but I don't understand how you can look at that shit, Vanderbilt was really good last year. Vanderbilt's a cellar dweller in the SEC forever, and they were really good. So, like, you can't tell me that, look at that and tell me that, okay, this actually is the truth. You know, and, like, you can't tell me you honestly believe that. Because the SEC's got more depth, I think, than any other conference in the country.
Yeah, that's 100% the truth. But look, you got to understand, too, where they're coming from at this point, right? Like, one for sure, maybe, two of the last two national championships? The SEC hasn't been in the last two national championships, so they, really feeling like, hey, this is our time to start banging that and start beating that drum to make sure that nobody thinks that they're here and everybody else is here. When the truth is, the conference still is here, and there's like some teams that can fit into the conference, but the rest of their conference ain't here. That's just facts.
100% correct. I'm trying to look at. I know SEC has not won the last two
national championship.
I'm pretty sure they haven't been in the last two.
Oh no, yeah. So
Texas played in it.
They did not win.
They just didn't win it.
They didn't win it.
Right.
Which year? Last year.
Last year.
Yeah. So so Michigan won it in 23. Who won it last year?
Ohio State.
Ohio State won it last year, but they beat Texas. So it's not, SEC's not there. It's just SEC had won two. But before that, it was 22, Georgia won it. 21, Georgia won it. Alabama won it in 20. LSU won it in 19. Alabama won it in 17. Alabama won it in 15.
Pretty good run.
Pretty good run. It's hard to win national championships. And
now do baseball.
They have, that's even worse. But SEC hasn't won the last two, which I think is good for college football. But it doesn't. It's not a knock on the SEC, and it's not them. Oh, SEC's not as good as they have been. It's just some other teams have been really good, and they've been able to get over the hump. But the SEC, top to bottom, which I would argue, SEC is better now than it has been ever. There's more competition in the SEC, which makes it harder to get to the national championship because you're beating up on each other.
What's his point?
You no longer have the Brock Vandagriff sitting on Georgia's bench, not ever playing. He transfers to Kentucky and plays. Like
100%.
Whether you think they did great or not, he was a former five-star that was sitting as a depth piece somewhere, and now he gets a chance to go somewhere in the conference and play again. Like, those things are happening in this league. So, like you said, it is still as top-heavy and front line. You just don't have the teams as deep as they used to be, and a lot of those guys are staying within conference to play against the same teams they were just on.
Correct. Let me rattle off the teams. Right. Obviously, we all know the teams. Alabama, Arkansas. Let's say Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia. So let's go to the top teams that people like. Okay. This team could beat anybody any given day. Alabama, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Texas. This year, you can add South Carolina. Last year, you could add Missouri to that. This year, you can add South Carolina. You could probably put in Oklahoma. You could probably throw Florida in there. Arkansas, I don't really know how they're going to be. They're probably not going to be great. Auburn, not going to be great, but Auburn can be. There's been many years where Auburn's not supposed to be good, and all of a sudden they end up being good because they have historically been really good. To look at that, to look at the teams and look at the schedules and look at what they've done and look at who they have on their team, to say that they don't have depth is just an asinine statement. And to me, I don't truly believe I don't believe he truly believes that. In my opinion.
No, he doesn't really believe that, but he has to do what he has to do to quote unquote put on for that conference and his team and to not knock down the games that they're going to have. When indeed, like we just talked about, they're not going to open the season at the other Death Valley to start the year. They're not going to open the season at what could possibly really truly be a top 5 team at the end of the year and then play the conference schedule that LSU is going to play. Like they don't have those things going on over there.
Right.
So of course, let me kind of dumb down what's over here to make it look like when we get towards the back end of the year, when we haven't played anyone, meaning we as in Indiana or maybe some of those other teams in that league, and you have a record that's unblemished or has one blemish on it, that you have more of an argument than these teams here playing this gauntlet of a schedule. Can't make it look like it's a gauntlet of a schedule, so I got to start planting that seed right now.
100%. Tell me if Indiana would rather this schedule. Clemson, Louisiana Tech, okay. Florida, Southeastern, okay. Ole Miss, South Carolina, at Vanderbilt, A&M, at Alabama, Arkansas at home, Western Kentucky, at Oklahoma. You think Indiana wants that one? I don't. I don't think that. Florida's going to be a top 15 team. Clemson's a top 10 team. Ole Miss is a top 10 team. South Carolina's probably going to be a top 10 team. Texas A&M obviously has got a ton of talent. They'll be a top 25 team. Alabama will be a top 5 team. You know, Oklahoma's going to be a top 25 team. And Vanderbilt has everybody returning. They got a vote to win the SEC. So I don't think he wants that. Go ahead, Floyd.
But honestly, I mean, like, and I don't want to tell you before you even say anything. This was literally the same conversation that happened in the basketball side, and the same conversation happened in the baseball side, where they tried to knock it down because there were so many really good teams out of the league that made it into the tournament, and they were like, "Well, look at how many of them lost. They've lost more than anybody else." Well, inherently, yeah. When you get to the end of it, there's only going to be one team that wins.
Yeah.
So more teams in, yeah, you're going to have more teams that lose out. And then at the end of the day, it was still an SEC team that won both of those sports.
Correct.
With more teams in. So it's like that's the crazy conversation that's going on here is like they know it, they see it. It's how can I knock it down?
The mental gymnastics they did for both college baseball and college basketball was like, oh, look how many times they lost. It's like, brother, they got more teams in it.
You're going to have more losses.
At some point they're going to
only
have to
8 teams
lose.
can make it to Omaha.
Right.
And if you get 14 teams in, not all of them can make it. So there's going to be 6 teams that lose, at least. And probably more because you ain't getting all 8 into Omaha.
And it's just so funny to me. But Old Dominion at home.
Tough.
Kennesaw State next up. Indiana State next. Illinois. Watch out. Iowa. Ooh.
Look, Luke Altmaier coming back to Illinois, you know.
And then we get to October 11th. Circle it. Put it on your calendars. Buy tickets now. Oregon.
There you go.
At Oregon.
That's a big one.
That's a big game.
Big game.
Michigan State. Not anymore. UCLA.
Now, when have you ever looked at Michigan State as they were threatening that conference?
Right.
Never. None. Not
maybe Le'Veon Bell last time.
And maybe the one year that oh boy just ski masked everybody and got that big contract.
Yeah, that was
that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, Javon, what is it? Plays for Seattle now.
This was when Kirk Cousins was there.
No. I'm talking about Mel Tucker.
Yeah, I'm talking about the running back where he just ran him into the ground.
Yeah, it's Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
that's when that was the last time that they did, and then that was the year that Mel Tucker was going to come to LSU. Like that.
Everybody wanted him. I said no. We had 1 year.
Had that.
He had 1 year. Please no.
And then he off the field stuff happened. So glad that didn't happen.
It always seems to work itself out.
Yeah. And then you go to you have UCLA come to you.
Which look, UCLA will be better this year. You would imagine
that would be LSU's out of conference game last year.
Right.
Played them. Did the thing. Maryland. Another Tagovailoa. Is he still there? Penn State.
Okay.
Your second one. Oh, real tough back end of the schedule with Penn State, who's not any good. But they are for this conference.
Well, they're not. I mean, I can't say they're not good.
They're good for this conference. Those are your 2 juggernauts. Wisconsin and Purdue. I think LSU would trade schedules.
They only have to play 2 of the top 4 teams in the Big Ten.
Do you want LSU to add Penn State and Oregon to their schedule? Is that what you're bitching about?
Yeah. And look, I'll give them 2.5 games. I'll give UCLA a half a game there. Like as far as tough, like it's not going to be, they're capable of beating, but like
You mean that same you mean that same UCLA that came down to Baton Rouge?
Well, I'm just saying because you got Nico there now, so I don't know how well he's gonna do, but I'm not saying they're like a top team. I'm just saying if you want to stretch it, I'll give them 2.5 tough games. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Wisconsin beat them. Wisconsin always seems to beat teams like that all the time because they just play defense and they bore you to death and they beat you. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And I know they say, oh, well, those are all SEC schedule. I mean, SEC teams, that's why. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah,
they don't have to go big time at a conference because you have to play the best conference top to bottom. And I've always said this. If you want to know who the best conference is, go in the NFL and see how many draft picks from each conference gets picked. SEC is the number one.
Year in, year out.
It's the number one.
Been running.
So, like, hey, the best players go to that conference, which makes it the best conference. Big Ten's not far behind them. I get that. But SEC year in and year out has the most guys drafted in the NFL. They have the most current players in the NFL. Like, it's just.
I tell you what, and I guess the other part of this conversation to me too, which I think is kind of crazy, and I'm not saying that it's not a part of football because it is a part of football. Obviously, especially as you grow and you get into professional football because that's played closer to the beginning of the year. But don't sit here and tell me that cold weather is your equalizer. I don't want to hear that shit, man.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to hear that.
That has nothing to do with football. That has nothing to do with football.
Like, I don't want to hear that. If that's what you need to be your equalizer, miss me with it. Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, you did see. I mean, Tennessee didn't do the best representation of that when they went up to Ohio State.
Look, I get it.
But you also had a quarterback that was threatening to hold out.
And you also had it was the first year you're ever going to have to go do that. Like that, you have to like, yeah, of course it's different. They're not used to playing in it, but it's not football. Like it's not like, that's not talent. Hey, this talent is not as good as that talent. It's just, yeah, look, maybe the cold weather does bring the talent down a little bit when you play there.
There's a reason America's struggling in Vietnam. We're playing a road game. I don't really know where we are.
Right.
I don't know the lay of the land quite the way that you do.
Exactly. But yeah, I just that there's been at this point in the year you got to manufacture storylines, and that's what they're trying to do. Danny Cannell obviously is probably having a field day with that.
Oh, he's gonna lead the show with it tomorrow.
Oh man,
if he has one, does he?
Danny Cannell, I think he's still at least is on a show, maybe, right?
I think probably
he probably has his own show.
Yeah,
everybody's got a podcast now, so you can do whatever you want to do. But yeah, so. Back to the college thing. Obviously, LSU's they start camp. Everybody's in school or back on campus, getting ready to go. Obviously, a lot of hype. There's really not much to really like analyze yet. You can talk about what ifs and all that kind of stuff, and I think we've talked about that a lot. Really, the big question mark is the offensive line going to gel early enough for the offense to reach its full potential, and then how is the defense going to perform with some new guys. A lot more talent, a lot more depth, some big-time returning guys coming here, some big-time recruits, and then you got second year with Blake Baker with a full roster, a roster that he basically handpicked and recruited and got guys there. So those to me are the two biggest question marks going into the year for LSU. But they'll be tested early. Two of the top three Heisman front runners at the beginning of the season, odds-on favorites, are going to be going up against each other in Klubnik and Nussmeier. So, in my opinion, that's the biggest question mark. We're not going to get into the details of LSU right now and who we expect because really we don't know anything other than what we've seen from last year and a little bit in the spring game, which really wasn't a spring game.
Yeah, I think it's a little early. I kind of want to give it a couple weeks or so, a week or so, however you want to look at it for us to like really get in the weeds of it. But I think there is a lot of reason for a lot of conversation about a lot of what LSU does this year.
Yeah,
and there could be a wide range of outcomes.
Yep, and look, I think a lot of people, there's always historically, LSU's always had a bunch of talent. So like. There's always the conversation going into the season, even in 2019, was, man, LSU's got a lot of talent, but we don't really know. So, like, they get ranked, but they also feel like they kind of get slept on a little bit because they're just some unknowns. And then it clicks, and you see them early on, you're like, okay, yeah, this team's real, right? They're always going to have some hype, but there's always going to be question marks. This year's like is no different. Having the 6-year quarterback obviously helps tremendously with that hype. I would venture to say that I think LSU's a touch underrated, but it's not an unfair assessment to underrate them because they have to replace 4 of their 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of I think they're rated exactly kind of where they should be at this point. Now, with me saying that, I guess if I'm going to get into this at all right now, I truly do believe that they could have a unbelievable season this year. But there's so many question marks
Correct.
going into what they do. And it is hard to, like, they could believe and see and know everything about what they're doing because they're in the building every day. We don't have on the outside looking in proof of that cohesion and how it works at this point. So it's very hard to sit here and say, yeah, I know for sure Nussmeier and all the receivers are going to be on the exact same page.
Correct.
Very hard to say, yeah, I know these guys that are coming in to step in the lineup will work together as a group from day one. And look, and the reason why I say day one is because this schedule is kind of unlike a lot of schedules they've had in the past where we could legitimately be looking up 3 weeks into the season and they're 1-2.
Right.
And the talent that they actually have in the room, at that point, I do believe, could still run the table going forward from there. But, like, that's literally where they are right now, where there is such a wide range of possible outcomes when you're looking at this team, and there's so many reasons as to why that could be.
And you talk about the first 3 games of the season, LSU's going to have the 2 question marks that I just mentioned, offensive line, how quickly can they gel, and how quickly can the defense – how much better is it? I think they are going to be significantly better, but how quickly are they going to be good? They're going to get challenged right off the bat, obviously. With Clemson, obviously, that secondary and that defense is going to be challenged in game 1, right? Clemson always has a pretty good defensive line, and the offensive line is going to get challenged in week 1. Then you go 2 weeks later against Florida at home. That's also going to be a huge challenge because you have DJ Lagway, who's a baller. Right, and he is one of the top quarterbacks in the country, I believe. And he's coming off – you could see him last year get better and better and better in his redshirt freshman year. And so you're going to have another quarterback coming in who's played LSU last year, and he's going to go right at the defense. So you're going to have 2 really, really good teams challenge those 2 weaknesses or the 2 question marks – I don't call weaknesses – the 2 question marks right now early on. And they better be ready for that because it's going to be – I don't want to look up in 3 weeks and say, "Damn, LSU's 1-2. They got to run the table." That's not where we want to be. That's where we've been the last 5 years. Not even 5 years. Probably the last 3. Because before that, it was.
I don't think they were running any tables.
No.
Just trying to get to 6 wins and get to a bowl.
Right. Which is tough to say.
Yep.
But yeah, and look, we're not going to go through the schedule and do the whole win-loss thing. It's way, way too early for that.
They do have, just when you look at Clemson's defensive line or defense, they have DJ Parker, Peter Woods, Avion Terrell at corner, and then they have DeMonte Capehart. They have 3 or 4 guys that I'm reading from Todd McShay that he has listed as potential day 1 picks.
Yeah.
And LSU has an offensive line that we'll see.
We'll see. I think the biggest thing LSU, one of the bigger guys they got in was that center that they got from Virginia Tech.
Braylon Moore?
Yes, because you have an experienced center who is good, and that we saw last year how much that actually matters. Again, we will have these conversations will continue to ramp up as we get closer and closer to the season. NFL conversations are ramping up. Jared, we had a talk off the air, before the show off air. It's also Ask Mikey Mitch. I'm reminding you, throw questions in the chat. Ask anything that you want to ask. Bring your personality today. Put some personality in your questions, and let us have some fun with it. So, NFL conversation. Camp starts. There's not a ton going on. There's contract disputes. You're going to get some guys that they cut. That maybe didn't make a team. That all that stuff is going to start happening here soon. But like I said, it's list season, right? And there was a big debate. I know this isn't, a lot of people listening to like, oh, why y'all talking about other things in LSU? Because there's really not much to talk about LSU right now. So we're a sports show. We're gonna talk about everything. But there was a conversation on top 10 quarterbacks. Cam Newton, who dresses very outlandishly, says some off-the-wall things, but he's very articulate in his points. He always has a point to what he's saying. He has a reason for why he says things. And he's an MVP quarterback. He was, unbelievable in the league. And so he's pretty, well equipped to have these conversations and to judge these quarterbacks. And one of the guys out of the top 10 was Jalen Hurts. And, there's a lot of people that love Jalen Hurts, me included. I love Jalen Hurts. I think he's a great quarterback. Do I think he's the top 10 quarterback? I don't know. I think he's a fringe top 10 quarterback. And Cam Newton came out and said he doesn't believe he's a top 10 quarterback because they don't have to go through Jalen Hurts to go win. You have to go through the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a compliment to the Eagles on how good their team is top to bottom and how complete they are. And it's not a knock on Jalen Hurts for not being good because he's extremely talented. He just doesn't have to do the things that some of these other quarterbacks have to do to go and win games, which makes him not top 10. Talent-wise, he's got all the talent in the world. But the numbers haven't shown that he's a top 10. And Cam said that, and he got absolutely roasted by everybody on ESPN and all these other pundits. And it just feels like everybody is kind of on their same side. And if you have a differing opinion, they come at you personally, which is what they did. And he came out and he acknowledged that. What's your take, Jay?
Yeah, I think too often we look at Cam and we try to minimize what he did in his career because of how we felt like he should have done in his career, or how long we felt like he should have played in his career and how much he should have won in his career. And you minimize exactly what the hell he actually did do, right? And I think when you look at him like that, it's easy to start attacking him as a person when he says something and not really kind of pay attention to what he's actually saying, right? So I guess in that conversation where he's saying this and everybody's kind of attacking him and who he is and his career and his numbers and all of that, well, Cam didn't make the statement in comparison to himself or in comparison to top 10 all time. He was just making the statement as of, this is who I don't think he is in the game today. And if you're going to look at it like that with numbers behind it, it's kind of hard to argue that. Now, does that mean that Jalen isn't a really good quarterback? No. Does that mean that there can only be 10 franchise quarterbacks and everyone else is looking for that guy? Because if you're not that, you're not top 10 and we need to find one? No. It's just showing you that quarterback play, especially today, is at a very, very high clip, a very, very high bar. And it's fair to say that Jalen is literally probably right on the edge of that line one way or the other.
Correct.
It's fair to say that. If you look at the numbers, you look at what he's doing, what he's asked to do, and all of those things combined, that's a fair assessment. And if you can't judge what came out of his mouth off of what he's saying and not judge him, then you're missing the whole point of the conversation, in my opinion.
100%. And look, you got quarterbacks. Let's just go down the list. Would you take him over Lamar? No. Would you take him over Patrick Mahomes? No. Would you take him over Josh Allen? No. Would you take him over Joe Burrow? No. Jaden Daniels has been thrown in that. I think it's too early. He had an unbelievable first year. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be an unbelievable quarterback. Let's see if he does it year 2. So I'm not even going to throw him in there. Would you take him over Justin Herbert? That's a debate. Would you take him over Dak Prescott? I would say I would take Dak. Lloyd says no. You say Dak. Would you take him over C.J. Stroud? I would take C.J. Stroud right now. Would you take him over Matthew Stafford? At this point right now, I would take Stafford. Honestly. Would you take him over Jared Goff? I would not. Based off the way Jared Goff...
Depends on what the offense is at that point. See, and that's where I think we start getting to that conversation is who else is on the team? What else? What kind of help does he have?
Right.
What are you asking him to do? Because I think the way Jared Goff runs that offense in Detroit, I'm not sure that Jalen Hurts could go there and do that. And I know for a damn fact, Goff couldn't go do what Jared Goff what Jalen Hurts is asked to do.
Correct.
That like he doesn't play that game.
Correct.
So like that's where the conversation becomes. It's fair to say that top 10. I'm not sure he's all things considered. If I guess I'm not sure, if I put it like this, I think this for me this is the way that works better. Is if it's 3rd and 8 and I'm getting you to the line, and I know it's a pass play. The defense knows it's a pass play, and everybody in the stadium knows it's a pass play. And he's got to drop back and play the game from the pocket, and or make a play from that spot. Are you sure you're taking him in the top 10 in that situation?
Right. I would take Baker over him right now. Like as it stands today. But I'm not doing it off of talent. I'm doing it based off of what we've seen in the NFL and throws that he's made. Because Jalen Hurts hasn't had to do it.
I would tell you, yeah, and I would tell you, like, with that scenario being the situation that I put out there, if I'm putting Jalen Hurts in the top 10, it's because I think he's got a chance to scramble and get those 8 on his own with his legs.
Right.
There's 10 other arms and decision makers I think I like better in that spot. I think I can name that.
Correct.
I think I can do that.
Correct. And I guess the hypothetical I gave to you was it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. You have to throw the ball. You know what's going. You know what's happening. You know they know you're throwing it. This crowd, the stadium knows you're throwing it. And you get into your play. You call the play in the huddle. You get to the line of scrimmage. You read the defense. You understand what the coverage is. You understand what the protection is. Okay, you make your calls. Maybe you change the play. Defense sees what you do. They kind of make their calls. They change the play. Both of you have called good plays. There's no free rusher. You have the blitz picked up. You understand what they're doing. You understand the coverage. And their cornerbacks are on your receivers, and you don't have anybody open based off of matchups. And the play, you snap the ball, the play is being run, and receivers go through their routes, you go through your progressions, and nobody is really open, right? Like you're going to have to make a throw. Is he in that top 10 of, hey, I would rather him make that throw than some others? I don't believe that he is. And it's not because of talent. It's just because he hasn't done it or hasn't shown that he needed to do it a ton. He can make the throws, but I think I would take 10 other guys in that situation to make that throw. And that's not the end-all, be-all to make you a top 10 quarterback. But, hey, listen, in those situations, I don't know if he's in the top 10. Now,
yeah, I think once you get down to like that 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, there's quarterbacks with qualities that you would take over other quarterbacks with their qualities, which now makes that number murky. But I don't think you can sit here and say for sure he's in that top 10. I think you're not telling the truth about it. If you're really looking at it in that situation, I don't really think you can say that.
Correct.
And I think that's a fair argument that Cam brought to mind.
Yeah.
And he got attacked about it as if he was like comparing him to himself.
And that's not comparable either. You know what I mean? Like at this point in his career, Cam's first 5 years in the NFL were better than almost anybody. So, if you're going to do that, then you got to compare it as in your timeline. You can't just look at what happened at the back end of his career.
I'll throw this number out there. You know how we sit here and to this day, we still have never seen a 4,000-yard passer in Chicago Bears history? You know who else doesn't have a 4,000-yard passing season in his 5 years in the league?
Jalen Hurts. Yep. And he's a great quarterback. Very talented.
Fair to say that we've never seen elite quarterback play in Chicago, correct?
Correct.
So how are we so sure that it's been elite quarterback play in Philadelphia since he's been there?
That's it.
Because of the tush push?
Right. Because of the rushing touchdowns?
I think it's a fair, if you would rather him in your top 10, that's fine. But you can't sit here and say across the board, that's the guy that I want, that he's a top 10 guy.
Now, if you say, hey, is he a top 10 winner in the NFL? I'd put him in the top 10 of winners, of winning.
Yeah.
No doubt.
He's got intangibles.
No doubt.
100% he's got intangibles.
No doubt. It's a fun debate.
Somebody was talking about Hurts on Twitter, and that is like Nick Saban already he molded a psychopath out of that man because they got their rings yesterday, I believe. And he's like, "Have you worn your ring yet?" He's like, "I never put it on. I just put it in the box for on to this year." And it's like,
and look, and
Nick Saban got his ass.
He's got the intangibles. He does. And I think he's great. I think he's talented. But if you're going to look at top 10 quarterbacks, you got to look at everything. And I don't believe he's there yet, or he's very fringe, borderline. But it is an interesting debate. And the fact that Cam got attacked because of saying what he said, because he was not wrong in what he said, I don't think that was right either. You know who is in the top 10?
Threw for 18 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And ran for 5.
Hurts? Mm-hmm. He only ran for 5 touchdowns last year?
Oh, interceptions. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was about to say. He ran for
no. Yeah, 5 touchdowns.
He rushed for 5.
Oh, 14.
There you go. There you go.
Well, these rushing yards. Put up. Oh, these are the last 4 games.
You know who is in the top 10 though? Top 10 all-time LSU players for sure. Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann obviously announced his retirement. Everybody knows that, has heard that by now. Everybody has come out and talked about Tyrann stories. You see on, Brad Wing talks about it. You had Leckler talk about it on McAfee's show. Patrick Peterson came out with the nice Instagram message. Very well respected. But, and we haven't forgotten about it. But I think people around the country forget how explosive and how transcending he was in college. I know LSU had posted a video of his retirement, but I mean, this is my
yeah.
I was in college, and then a couple years I had just left college, and so I was very much around all of this. Same with you, Jay. And this guy. They're not going to show enough of him when he was wearing 14, though. His freshman year was. And this year was unbelievable. This one he was a finalist for Heisman. He should have won it. That's well documented. Boy, was he explosive, and boy, was he game changer. He won games all by himself. This game by himself.
The Cardinals select Tyrann Mathieu.
He's gonna coach. He'll be a coach somewhere. Probably next year. He wants to coach there. And I hope they bring him on.
As they win it here in Super Bowl 54.
I just wish we would have got him in New Orleans when he was in his prime. Obviously, it was nice to end his career in New Orleans.
How many interceptions do you think he had in New Orleans?
5.
10.
He had 10 interceptions.
Yeah,
in New Orleans?
I read that too. And I was like, "Oh!" But he did.
How many had? He probably had 4 last year.
He had. He led the team. He had 4. He had 3, 3, and 4. But that's where he doesn't get enough credit for being able to put. I mean, the team wasn't any good, but he played in every game last year.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I think he has the birth of his daughter within the last couple of days, and probably got to camp and was like, "I don't think my heart's in it."
And look,
if anybody would know, he would know.
There's not many people that have the opportunity to leave their game on their terms. There's just not. And there's not a lot of times it's because that person does not understand or can't give it up or doesn't really understand what he's going to do after, and he's tied to football or playing baseball or playing basketball, whatever that may be. And so they ride it out, and the back end of their career isn't quite as good. And people start to, in NFL, it's all about winning. And people start to look at him and say, oh, this guy, they kind of lose favor with him. And there's, it's very rare for a guy to understand it, have the awareness of saying, you know what? I ain't in this. I'm not playing for a paycheck. I'm playing because I love it. And saying, my time's up. Had a great run. I'm going to call it. And when you get to do that, that is a special moment, and he was able to do that.
Yeah, dude. So Tyron for me is, I don't think. I mean, honestly, this goes across from him wearing 14 to 7 to being in Arizona to being in Kansas City to being back. Everywhere that dude has been, there has been so many playmaking. his ability to have a nose for the football, like just like you said, Lloyd, like, oh man, like it wasn't the best of his career with the Saints, and then he was there for what, 3 years and had 10 picks.
Yeah.
Like what?
Right.
Like I guess my point to it is like his ability to like his playmaker ability. Truthfully, like especially at the safety position, man, for me, like I got to go back to somebody like Ed Reed or something like that. Like that makes sense for me to be like, that's what I remember. But the craziest part of it all for me is I saw he actually posted something like this on his story, and it was at 5'9", 180 pounds.
Yep.
That man missed 16 games over the course of 12 years in the league.
It's crazy.
That shit's impressive, bro. For him to continue to answer the bell week in and week out, playing a not only super physical game, but super physical position the way he did, that's so impressive, man. It's so impressive. Like he is literally one of the best competitors I think I've ever seen.
Ever.
Truthfully.
Ever. I'm trying to go by. What play does that stick out for you the most in college?
The West Virginia play. Either
I was just about to say that. Where he batted the ball up and
intercepted. Either that or the
intercepted.
punt return in the SEC championship. Like I feel like those two are like etched in memory in a lot of people, a lot of LSU fans' mindset, because like I don't know, like those are just two super iconic moments where it felt like every time he was on the field at that time of the year, like if there was a big play made on defense, he was literally right in the middle of it. That's what it felt like.
100%. And you talk about the punt return. So there was the two that I really like. I mean, there's so many. But there was two that really stick out to me. First one was the one we just saw, the Arkansas punt return. LSU it was a sleepy game for LSU. They were down by a touchdown with 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, right before halftime. And they really weren't doing much. And then they punted the football to him, and he returns it to the house right before half. And, like, completely changed the game. And then LSU ends up, I believe, like, blowing them out.
41-17.
Yeah. So it was 14-7 at that point, and they outscored them, whatever it was, to 3 the rest of the way. And then SEC championship game against Georgia, down 14-0. Same kind of situation, 14-0, back into the second quarter, going into halftime. He returns that for a touchdown, and then they propel LSU to go out and blow Georgia out.
42-10.
Right. No, I thought Georgia was up 14-0.
No, remember they had that guy wide open in the end zone, and he dropped it, and they just.
Oh, it was 10. It was 10-0.
It was 10-0. They scored a touchdown.
That's right.
LSU gives them the ball right back.
Yep.
And then they have a guy wide open, probably from the 3-yard line.
Oh, yeah.
And he just dropped it.
I remember that.
And then they kicked a field goal, and LSU was like, okay, not 14-0, 10-0. Then Tyron happened.
Yeah, that was 5 minutes and 50 seconds left. They kick it to him. He returns it for a touchdown, and then they blow him out. Right? And you have to remember, these situations were happening when LSU was throwing for like 125 yards a game.
Jordan Jefferson, 5 of 13 for 30 yards.
In the Georgia game.
Yeah.
And they beat them. They scored 41 points. Now, I know they had a running game, but in their LSU's defense was like legendary.
Real good.
But he, on the defensive side, would score. It was unbelievable.
There's not a lot of games that you can win. I would like to go back at some point, go through every SEC championship game ever, and see who the winning quarterback was 5 of 13 for 30 yards.
Right. Not many.
And you won by 30.
By 30 points.
You did run for 207.
Yeah, but that was their game. It wasn't like when you run for 207 yards and you don't throw for that, you don't think, oh, we're going to score 40 points. We think, oh, we're going to beat them 24-7.
Right.
You know, we're not going to score a lot of points. We're just not going to give up a lot of points. And that wasn't the case.
And he put that.
So if you're here already listening to the show, congrats, you've already got my answer for what's my curtain call, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, because that's
I think
kinda where
I think that's a show curtain call right there. Because, like, I mean, it's,
yeah.
you know, and look.
We were at LSU kind of, like, that was my freshman year. Me and Tyron are the same age.
Yeah, so that was my junior year, his freshman year.
Yeah.
And then, because 2010 was his freshman year, right?
Right.
So that was
So
my.
we came
that
in
was,
together.
So 2010 fall was his freshman year. That was my 2011 baseball season, right? Because it's two different, obviously, years, but it's the same year. And so that was my junior year. And then the next year was when he went to 7. He had all that. That would have been my senior year had I not left. So, like, yeah, it was right. I mean, I came back and took classes in 2012, and
Yeah, that's when he got.
I was in his class. Like, we're in the same class. And so, like, you know, back then, all the baseball players, we would train at the indoor. So, like, we got real tight with the football guys because we were working out while they were doing their conditioning.
You saw him.
And so we saw him all the time. And, you know, Tyron had a very deep respect for other sports and other athletes and never really felt like, you know, there's some guys that feel like, oh, I'm on the football team, I'm superior than every other athlete, but he didn't act like that. And, you know, I mean, when he came in the Jordy's show, right, a few years ago for this interview, and, like, you know, I hadn't talked to Tyron or seen Tyron forever, and he came up to me and gave me a big hug and remember, like, he's
Mikie.
just that kind of person. Yeah, like, he's just that kind of dude. And, you know, he deserves everything he gets.
Yeah. And it's a real, I mean, obviously, a testament to somebody that got famous far before he probably thought he would be. Like, was undersized at St. Aug, didn't really have a lot of committable offers. Like, I know Frank Wilson was pounding the table for him. Like, he wanted him to go to Tennessee. They almost get in a fight about it, whatever. He ends up at LSU because he went into camp, and, like, the story's well told. Goes to the LSU camp, and he keeps lining up and trying to find Odell and Jarvis in line, and, like, keeps getting in line. He's like, I want to go against the best people here because I don't think anybody thinks I'm any good.
Right.
And so that's how he kind of got to the LSU lore where he gets an offer, comes in, well, it probably takes 3 games before he's actually, like, I guess, making more plays than people thought because it was Patrick Peterson's year. Everybody was looking at Pat P. Pat P runs a, punt back against North Carolina in the first game of the year. And then you have Tyron coming off the edge, making plays. You're like, oh, my God, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And you see how much they have respect for each other almost immediately.
Brandon Taylor posted a picture.
Yeah, that was sad.
But that was,
Yeah, I saw it too.
it
Yeah.
shows you how
spot.
nasty they were.
Yeah.
Right? I'm pulling the picture up right now because it was like, look, we're prisoners of the moment, right? Like, you kind of like, you remember what you see recently, you kind of forget about the past. He posted a picture, he said, end of an era. These were the 5 guys that they had in the secondary in that time frame. Mo Claiborne, Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Brandon Taylor, Ron Brooks. I mean, all those guys played in the NFL.
Yeah.
4 of the 5 made a Pro Bowl, I believe. I don't know if Ron made a Pro Bowl, but that's Ron Brooks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was a starter in the NFL. 3 of them, at one point, were considered the best at their position. All in the same defense. And that ain't talking about some of the guys that didn't play yet. That's pretty nasty. That's pretty awesome.
End of an era right there.
End of an era is
an era.
wild.
Damn, that makes me feel old.
Yeah.
I know. Ain't many guys left.
Those are dogs.
Yeah. What a fun. I hope our defense gets back to that because look,
It's a different feeling.
Everybody loves offense. Everybody loves offense. I love offense. You need offense this day and age to score points. But man, when you got a defense that's dominant and that's flying around the ball and it's hard to move against them, that's fun to watch. Like, that is fun to watch. And that's where a lot of the energy comes in the stadium, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, as much as we, like, bring this back, yeah, but I don't want the offense to come with it.
For sure.
I'll just like, give me a little bit on one side or both. But, I mean, you saw, as good as this year was, I mean, think about, we just had the opposite happen in, 2023, where, like, you have the best offense in the country by far, and it still doesn't mean a thing at the end of the day.
100%. You got to have both sides.
Both. But this is, I mean, legendary.
Yeah, I mean, you
go
go back to
every game going.
You go back to the 2019 defense, and they had a bunch of dogs on that
Yeah.
team. And they were good, but they weren't, like, elite. As I say elite. They weren't the numbers weren't as elite as that year, but they were on the field for so long because LSU was scoring 40 points a game.
Yeah. I don't think anybody that's fun until you have to, like, you saw Dave Aranda trying to adjust to it in real time whenever they're sitting down to get on the whiteboard. It's like, oh, they just scored. It's like, oh, shit, I didn't get to make any adjustments. Like, y'all go back out there and figure it out.
Like, Dan, we just we're on the field for 8 plays. We didn't break. They
That's how
pulled the
we
ball.
played.
Damn, we just scored in 4. Get back on there.
Yeah.
Get ready.
What'd you learn?
You hadn't gotten in the water yet. Dude, they had. They were nasty, dude. They had Jacob Phillips, Jacoby Stevens, Patrick Queen, Grant Delpit,
Chasson.
Caleb Von Chasson.
They won pretty much every damn award you could win that year. Like
Ramon Clark,
individual
Derek
awards.
Stingley, Christian Fulton, Rashard Lawrence.
Yeah, they were good. Like that was a well-recruited team, and Devin White wanted to come back.
Yeah, it was a good move that he did not come back for him.
Right.
But
Stingley got robbed of freshman of the year.
yeah. But yeah, shout out curtain call. We're gonna get to the curtain calls, but Tyrann Mathieu, what an unbelievable career, what an unbelievable, so many great memories
And
for LSU football fans.
yeah, one really bad one, but he had.
But here's the deal: if he's playing this day and age, that never happens
No, not at all.
because they don't drug test for that. It's not as stringent now.
No, there's people that contend that if anybody else is coaching the team or if he's at any other school, that never happens.
Never happens.
And you don't know the story of if that is a reason as to why, Tyron became the person he is today. He was always that guy. It was just LSU was way too strict about it. You
Right.
don't know, but
Right.
whatever it was, he made the situation the best that it could have been.
100%. And he understood. I made mistakes. Listen, it wasn't that it was like I was doing the worst thing in the world. It was I was doing something that I knew that I shouldn't be doing at the time, and I have to be smarter and I have to be more disciplined to understand that.
Yeah, let's suspend you for a half.
Yeah. But
No, let's kick you
for
off
him,
the
for his
team.
career, I have to understand. I have to take accountability in things that happen. Yeah, maybe it shouldn't have happened the way it happened, but I can't put that in anybody else's hands. And he was a model. I don't know if he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, but I believe he's been nominated for it multiple times. That is around the NFL like one of the highest honor you can get.
Yeah. Oh, there was a question in the chat. Not a lot of.
Well, that's not a lot of them.
No.
So how many? We have 1 or 2?
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Okay. You want to get to them, and then maybe they'll start asking questions after?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do Ask Mikey and Mitch segment. Brought to you by our friends at Bocock Brothers Cigars. LSUcigars.com. Get all your championship cigars. This beautiful box. This beautiful box will be coming with me to
Oh.
Arkansas.
And-
Look, family likes to smoke some stogies, so
Nothing
we're
wrong
gonna
with
bring
that.
them. They've been asking for them. I said I'm gonna bring them to the trip. But LSUcigars.com has all of the national championship celebratory cigars. They have the new box with the 2025 national championship on it. They are going to launch a football line here coming up soon. We will let you know when that happens, and we will obviously have those boxes on the show to advertise and show and do all the things. But LSUcigars.com. Use promo code MIKEDUP15 to get 15% off your entire order. I know they'd appreciate it. I know we'd appreciate it, and you'll appreciate it because the cigars are good. All right. Ask Mikey Mitch.
First question up. Forever LSU. You guys got some mic'd up gear?
You did that on purpose.
Look at Lloyd.
You did that on purpose. I've dropped the ball on that. That's my fault.
Oh,
we
man.
do. We just need to get more of it. Uh-huh. I'll drop the ball on it.
Shipping's been backed up for 4 years.
I've dropped the ball on it. That's my bad. That's my fault.
Super chat from DJ Trauma.
Thank you.
TM7 was the greatest defensive player in LSU history. Won games, made teammates, and fans believe and elevate. Played with Nola and boot in his heart. Dog. That's all I say. But
No
super
doubt.
chat, you get it read, and he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Everything he says right. I know that's probably it.
Sure.
No.
Now, huh?
No. This
What?
is the one that I wanted to get to that I think is interesting because DJ Trauma again, no doubt jersey retirement at LSU for Tyrann Mathieu. And
But here's the question.
right. What?
You can't retire 7.
Not that, but like name on the wall. Like, like they put.
Listen, I don't disagree. But LSU has been known to be it's been very difficult
That's what I was going
to
say.
retire. Like Charles Alexander, who had an unbelievable career at LSU, he's just now getting his jersey retired. There's a lot of other players from further back that you would say, damn, this guy should have his name on the deal. And that's a credit to LSU on how good they've been, how many talented players they have. I mean, Kevin Falk could have an argument
Yeah.
to have his name on it,
Good.
right? Like his name, he's arguably the best running back in the country when he was at LSU, right? You have some guys you go further back. I mean, there's a lot of Kevin Mawai. Like, you just have a lot of guys that have done a lot of really good things at LSU and the NFL that I don't disagree with you. It's just they've been very – and it should be. It should be a difficult thing.
That it's hard.
Yeah.
But I also do think, Kevin Falk's not a question.
No doubt.
That's just – I don't know what their timeline is or how it has to get done. But my other question was the other part that makes it very difficult for LSU to get these things done is the rules behind it. And correct me if I'm wrong.
You have to graduate, don't you?
Tyron didn't graduate.
Yeah. You have to graduate. I don't know if you have to graduate to get your number retired. I think you have to graduate to be in the LSU Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's a dumb rule.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that won't get that, won't make it.
Yeah,
because
so it's
of
not
that.
really the LSU Hall of Fame.
What's that?
It's not really the LSU Hall of Fame.
Right, because there's some guys that aren't going to get it. I mean,
like Pistol Pete's not in it. He didn't graduate. I'm pretty sure he named the fucking arena after him, but he can't be in the Hall of Fame.
right, and look, yeah, and maybe they've changed that. I don't know.
They've been pretty stubborn about it.
They are.
Tyrann Mathieu donated you $1 million after you kicked him off the team.
Tyrann Mathieu's been the biggest LSU advocate even after his career.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
He could have been so bitter.
Which is great respect for that.
Yeah.
Great respect. More.
That was just my question to y'all. Is about I just found that funny that somebody that's made such an impact at LSU can't get any of the accolades that he's probably supposed to get, and for 2 years.
Agreed. Anybody else throw any in there? No.
No.
Nobody has their personality.
Somebody's real bad issue. Oh, Forever LSU
is mad at me.
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your Jalen Hurts take. As an Eagles fan, we have our dude. We don't need a top 10 in Howie we trust. Y'all play too much Madden.
Whoa, timeout. He just said we don't need a top 10. That's what we're saying. Like, as long as he wins, that's all that matters. This is just a conversation about, is he a top 10 quarterback? I think he's a great quarterback. He's a winner. And that's all that matters. If he wins you championships, that's the only thing that matters. I don't believe that he's a top 10.
Damn. Well, Forever LSU, you got to have better feel than this. I just got a Pepsi. He took that punt 92 yards, Tyrann Mathieu. You got to know that Tyron.
Wait, what?
They were looking at the video whenever Tyron ran that punt back against Arkansas. Like, you got to know not to really – that's not the time to go get a Coke.
I wish I could find the video because I am looking like a maniac.
Oh, I'm sure.
I am on the thing, and I am banging on the fence as he's running into the end zone. I was really hoping he would come right in front of the student section, but he kind of peeled off when he got
tackled.
After he got tackled.
That was some bullshit. Oh, ask him and him. Favorite Tyron game?
Jared, you want us to hit that one?
My favorite Tyron game?
Yeah.
It's not really a game. Literally, I said it's like those first 2 years he was there, wearing 14 and then 7. Those first 2 years, it's not about one game. It's literally every time there was a big defensive play that happened, he was smack dab in the middle of it. Like it was. I've never seen so many playmaking, game-changing type of plays be made by one player
ever
in like such a short span of time. So, like, for me, it wasn't like one game because it was literally like the very next one, he's right in the middle of 2 more.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, if the ball was on the ground, he either caused the fumble or recovered the fumble, which was wild. It doesn't matter if it was 10 yards in the backfield or if it was 15 yards down the field. He had his hand on the ball somehow, some way, which is crazy. But my favorite game is probably the first game of the 2011 season against Oregon. Because Oregon had all this hype coming in. They were supposed to be really good. And Tyron was coming off his freshman year. Can he do it again? Wearing number 7. And he just takes the entire game over defensively, and Oregon couldn't do anything. That was probably my favorite one. Lloyd?
Arkansas.
Okay.
Arkansas, he forces 2 fumbles, runs a punt back, like totally took that game over whenever it was 14-14, forces a fumble.
14-7, ties it.
Ties it, then he next drive he forces a fumble. And then late in the game, whenever it's 41-14,
Ends the game.
That's when he goes like had no reason. It doesn't have to do that. Game's over.
Yeah.
And he just has such a nose for the football. He's like, I'm ripping it out if you give me a chance. And I was like, I've never seen anything like this. And it got to the point where it's unfair to expect it, but he kept doing it. And if he's not in this game, you're not going to the SEC championship.
Nope.
And if he's not in the SEC championship, you're not going to the national championship. Like, he literally changed games in ways that I've never seen a defensive player do it. Because there's not that many opportunities.
Correct.
West Virginia. If
And not just that, too. Like, I'm saying not just that, too. Like, you remember, obviously, Devin Hester's a different animal in what he does in terms of how he did it. But, like, you felt like he was going to run away from everybody in terms of, like, he's that much faster, so you probably shouldn't kick him the ball. If you let him put his hands on the ball, he's gone. Tyron never wowed you in any of those things. You never felt like he was the fastest or the absolute quickest or the strongest or the best. You never felt like any of that. Yet he was right in the middle of every damn big ass
He was just
play.
the best football player. He wasn't like
right in the middle of every one of them.
Yeah.
And that's where I guess you have to ask, like, obviously he wants to coach. Because I don't think what his skill set was is coachable. Like,
No, but I think what he's got up here
that's what I was gonna
is
say. Like, I
coachable.
think he understands football so well in his pro career, and I've seen Butler on Pat McAfee's show like bring up Tyrann Mathieu. He's like, y'all have no idea how well he knows this defense because he's doing things that you're not supposed. Like, he's fooling the quarterback while
Correct.
playing defense and doing his job. But it's like that part that I think is instinctual, but also can be taught within the scheme of a defense.
100%, and you don't force that many. You're not around the football that much. You don't force that many turnovers. You're not that. You don't wreak that much havoc in a game unless you have outrageous football IQ, and that's what he's got, and that is transferable. That is teachable to other people. I think he'd be a great coach.
Me too.
I think he'd be a great coach, and just like you said, because a lot of those guys that end up turning out to be really good coaches, it's not necessarily because there's a lot of guys that were really good in the game that were just bigger, faster, stronger, better than a lot of people. He had to do it in different ways. He had to outsmart you, he had to outthink you, he had to out-hustle you, he had to out-heart you. He had to do all of those, and he did it like on a routine basis. And I think guys like that can give you how to get to the other side the way he was able to do it, yeah, they turned into good coaches.
Yeah.
100% they turned into good coaches.
Correct. All right, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Appreciate y'all. Y'all are all slacking today. That's okay. It's July 23rd. I get it. It's not nobody's really excited for anything just yet. So I understand.
He did have a crazy ability to pick up the ball. Like, it looked like he was fielding grounders.
Picking up a fumble's hard.
And he would have had another one as 14, but Mingo just hopped on top of it. But he was doing
And almost never, that's another, like he almost never dropped those. So he caused one, he was around the ones that was bouncing around, and he was still able to pick them up and just, like, it's unreal how many big-ass plays he made like that.
And you talked about the punt returning real quick. It's just like you didn't expect to have another one after Patrick Peterson was literally setting records. You're like, oh, the punt return game or kick return game will take a step back, and it's like, nope. And because Pat was a freak. Like, don't let him get in the open field. It's over. West Virginia, North Carolina, like, it was all over the place. And then you're like, okay, Tyron will be fun back there. And like, oh, God, he's good at this too.
Yeah. That's,
Wow.
we felt like we had a little resurgence in the return game last year.
Yeah, finally. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, because that's why people get pissed about this kind of stuff, like the defense and special teams. This is what I grew up on. Like, changing the game in this way. Like, offense is great.
Yeah.
But you better have good.
But
there's
you
not an
always,
excuse
if
to
you
not
think
have good
about it,
special
LSU
teams.
always had somebody that could take it to the house. You had Skylar Green was like the first one that I can really remember. In the 2000s. Before that you had
Falk, Dominic Davis.
Yeah, you had all these guys, but you had, from what we can remember, like my childhood, you
Right.
had Skylar Green was like the first one I remember. Then you had Trendon,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you had Patrick Peterson. Then you had Tyrann Mathieu. Remember that one game they said, oh, let's just try to put Leonard Fournette back there, and he returned it to the house for a
Yeah,
touchdown?
get Notre Dame in the bowl game.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We can't throw it. We just need to get him the ball as
Need
much
a
as he
spark.
can. Let's just see if we can put him at touchdown.
Yeah.
You know? But you always had somebody, Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
You know, like you always had somebody back there Some of Odell Beckham's most impressive catches were him just catching one-handed kickoffs out the back of the end zone.
Yeah, that Georgia catch is insane.
Like nonchalantly.
Like the whole everybody kind of stops. Like, what did? How was that game? Like,
Did he do that?
Yeah, put on the picture like goal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's possible.
And that's like not easy.
no
End over end.
Yeah, not coming in slow.
No. But yeah, so hopefully, last year you had Aaron Anderson take one to the house.
You had Xavier Thomas take one to the house.
Xavier Thomas took one to the house. So it feels
now
this
you
year.
have Marion Brown.
This year you got we got some guys.
Put 3 of them back there. See what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. All right.
Wow.
What?
This is the first time I've seen this. I was too young to watch Tyron, but his highlights are nostalgic to me. He was that good. I can remember my dad showing me highlights as soon as I was able to comprehend football. Like, that's wild. Good for you. Got so much
Holy shit.
Talk about make me feel old.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, man, that's crazy. That's wild.
I mean, if Tyron left in 2011 and he was too young, let's say he was 4 or 5.
Yeah. But great parenting.
Great parenting. Damn.
Oh,
the first time I've
man.
ever read
That's
that.
rough.
That
That's rough.
sucks. That makes me feel
When life hits you straight in the face.
right in the face. Smack you right in the face.
Oh, man.
Shout out Parker G.
All right. Mistake of the day, Lloyd. What you got?
I do have a mistake of the day. And it's the Browns unveiled their new helmets today.
Oh,
Did you see
actually,
this?
not
They got
bad.
new helmets?
No.
I didn't see them. They got new helmets. I
They
didn't
got
see
the Matt Brown.
Yeah, it's their
Color
color
Rush.
rush, the Alpha Dog helmet that they unveiled. Somehow this is the way that they've decided to do their new uniform unveilings, like a lot of the time. And obviously, you want your social media there. You want people to be able to cover it. But when good times go bad,
In the middle of the
watch
water.
number 8, trying to get the video.
Oh! There he goes. There he goes. Oh!
Like, not on purpose. The man just beefed it, trying to get some coverage for the team, get the social media out. Bam, I'm the social
So
media.
now you're the viral moment, not the helmet.
Not the
Nobody even
helmet.
paid attention to the helmet.
No, everybody saw the guy smack dabbing in the water.
Damn. Tough. Probably ruined the camera.
So that was a fun little mistake of the day.
That is
Because
a
it's
mistake of the
the Browns are going to brown.
That's it. All right, curtain call. I mean, I think that is the curtain call, right?
Oh yeah,
Tyrann Mathieu on an unbelievable career. One of the greatest all time. One of the greatest to ever do it in college football. One of the greatest to do it in his time in the NFL.
come on back, come on home.
Would love to see you on the sidelines, even as a mentor. Just start off just helping guys. Would love to have you on the show too.
Absolutely.
Come talk ball with us. Maybe I'll give him a text, see if he comes.
I don't think he didn't get too many today.
No, I think I'll probably wait on that one. Hey, dude, you want to come on the show? You're retired. I'm sure you haven't been. I'm sure nobody's asked you.
Wait like a week. If you like actually get bored.
I can't. I imagine he's probably gonna end up on McAfee soon.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not. I mean, but with Butler there, with Darius Butler there, you would assume that they know each other obviously.
Yeah,
So I don't know. But curtain call to Tyron on an unbelievable career, and some
McAfee was
unbelievable.
definitely putting out the feelers.
What?
with the
Oh, yeah.
tweet.
Some unbelievable memories, and allowed us to go back down. I guess that would be called nostalgia, right?
Yeah, memory lane.
Yeah,
Well, Parker G, that's fresh for him.
it's nostalgia for us. He definitely don't remember Kevin Falk.
No,
He definitely doesn't remember Kevin Falk's 1997 game against Florida.
you were there.
I was there. I almost got hit by the field goal post on the field when I was 7.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah. All right. That's all we got for you on this beautiful Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back live in studio on Monday. No Friday show. We're gonna get some breaks on. There's still time for we get some breaks on Friday before we start ramping up for football season. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank you for the support. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't watch us but you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods, we love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. See you on Monday. Peace.
Bye, everybody.